Hello, these are scenes from a German factory in World War II, where the famous German semi-track motorcycles were produced. The Sd.Kfz.2, called in German Sonderkraftfahrzeug 2, better known as Kleines Kettenkraftrad 101, from the German Klein small, Kettenkrad and Kraftrad motorcycle, abbreviated to Kettenkrad. The Kettenkrad project was born to give German airborne units a very light ground vehicle for the transport of troops and material. This small, 1,560-kilogram vehicle being transported inside Junkers Ju-52 aircraft. And I want to repeat it, precisely this small vehicle would give a degree of mobility to the transport of troops, equipment, and material of the airborne units. This was the lightest mass-produced German military vehicle that used the complex, overlapping, and interleaved wheels, called Schachtel-Laufwerk, used on many German tracked vehicles in the second half of World War II. But even though it was a small machine, it required proportionally a lot of work to produce. For that reason, only 8,000 of these machines were built. The Sd.Kfz.2 was designed and built by NSU Werke AG in Neckarsulm, Germany. It was patented in June 1939 and was first used in 1941 during the invasion of the Soviet Union. Later in the war, Sd.Kfz Company also produced Kettenkrads, under license. That factory would produce 10% of the total production of these machines. As I said before, the vast majority of Kettenkrader entered service on the Eastern Front from 1941 onwards, where they were used to lay communication cables, pull heavy loads, and transport soldiers. And it was also used in the North African theater of operations and on the Western Front. Later in the war, Kettenkraders were used as runway tugs for aircraft, especially for the Messerschmitt Me-262 jet fighter and sometimes for the Arado AR-234 reconnaissance bomber. And these small vehicles were used to save fuel aircraft. The German planes were towed to the runway, instead of taxiing under their own power. And finally, I want to share with you these scenes from the production of the famous American Jeeps. And I want us to pay attention to the assembly process of those vehicles. And as an interesting comparison, the Americans produced 600,000 of their famous Jeeps. Again, this is another example of mass production by both the Americans and the Soviets in World War II, and how that enormous level of production was one of the reasons for the latter's triumph over the Germans during World War II. As simple as that.